Hey, I'm Bergeron here with you once again. And today I have a project in mind, a paper mache project. Get yourself some old clothes on, grab yourself a coffee or tea, and let's do it. All right, the other thing I think you're gonna need other than coffee or tea is you're gonna need a Pez dispenser full of Pez. I got this brand new Superman one. Thank you to my little friends Heather and Mark. I'll set this guy over there out of the way. I'm gonna make a lamb or a sheep out of this. So this is just simply a paper towel roll. And this is 4 dogwood sticks that I just cut from my front yard. I'm gonna make these into the legs. So it's gonna be it's gonna be a tall, spindly leg lamb, but that's gonna come in later. So what I wanna do with this right now is just make the head. So I got a pair of scissors right here. And I'm just gonna cut this off. So I think I'm gonna need about that much for the body. All right, I'm just gonna cut that off. You don't have to be gentle about this at all. This is all gonna be paper mache'd over. So I'm gonna make a neck and a head out of this same piece. And it's probably gonna go on something like that, okay? So that's the neck and then the head. So we'll cut this off for the head. All right, so with paper mache, you don't have to be delicate about any of this at all. You can just tape this right on, okay? This is gonna be the head. See how that's starting to come together already? This is gonna be the head. But I'm gonna make this a little bit pointier, I think, is maybe the word. So I'm gonna just put that one slice in there, like that. And yeah, that's gonna work out all right for the head. So just gotta tape this up. Okay, so I'm gonna use this green painter's masking tape. You can use whatever it is that you have. Okay, so I think I decided my sheep's body here is maybe a little bit too, what's the word? Scrawny. So I'm gonna take some paper and I'm gonna do this with my paper. And then I'm gonna fold it, not nicely, like that. And I'm gonna put this around the body of my sheep to build up a little bit of, give it a little bit of thickness. The recipe for paper mache is really simple, okay? It's 1 part flour to 1 part water, okay? So I'm not gonna make a lot of this up because I'm not covering a very big area. But I have 1/3 cup of flour and 1/3 cup of water, okay? Pour them in there. You might need a little bit of extra water. And then take a fork. So I'm using a fairly shallow pan here, and I'll show you why I'm doing that in a second. But you wanna mix this up so that it's paste. So that's fairly thin, but I'm gonna put just another, maybe half a teaspoon of water in there, and I'm gonna set my water aside now. Okay, so what you need for paper mache is you need an area, like I'm working on this plywood. I'm not worried about this plywood getting dirty or mucky. I'm not worried about this plywood having chunks on it. If I was, I could just take a piece of paper like this, lay down your paper, lay down your sheep, Remember, you're gonna have to leave this someplace to dry for pretty much a day, all right? So I'm gonna take my fork out of here, set it to the side. I've cut up a whole bunch of pieces of paper like this, hundreds of them, in a couple of minutes. It's really easy with a pair of scissors. It doesn't take much time at all. Here's the way that I do it. Now, don't worry about getting your hands mucky. If you're worried about getting your hands mucky, paper mache might not be the thing for you. Put your piece of paper in and drag it through the paper mache. Flip it over, drag it through the paper mache again, and then drag it across the edge. All right, and that's wet enough. And then put it on. And this should go on in not a very organized fashion is how I would suggest you think of it. And again, one piece at a time, drag it through, knock the paper mache off, put it on, not in an organized fashion, running around there like that. Okay, so I got one layer on this, and it doesn't have to be very smooth at the beginning. It just has to be a layer on it. And I'm gonna stand it up here. I'm gonna lean it up against this dish so that just two ends of it are touching. Your hands are probably gonna look like this. If your hands don't look like this, you're probably not trying hard enough. Okay, so I've left that overnight. And you'll hear it's rock hard. It's not very solid though, okay, because it only has one layer on it. What I need you to do right now is sort of try to feel around and find out where those holes are that we put in for the legs. I think there's one there. Nope. I think there's one there. All right, like that. There we go. 4 holes for the legs. Now we're gonna stick the sticks in there. So look at any potential parts that you don't have covered. Like you'll see there's a little bit there I don't have covered. There's a little bit across the nose. There's a gap there. So on this second layer, you know, sheep are kind of bumpy, right? I'm making this into a sheep. So it doesn't have to be, you know, perfectly smooth, but if you're making something else, like say you were making a frog or a person's face or something, you would probably smooth it out quite a bit. Okay, so I've put a second and a third layer on there, and it's hard now. It's really hard. I put it in the oven for about 10 minutes at 250, so it's really quite hard. I don't know if you can notice here on the head, but the head has a bit of a slant here. So to fix that up, I'm just going to take a little bit of paper, just some of these strips really. And I'm just going to, you know, fold them up however it is that you can fold them up to sort of level out the head. And then I'm just going to tape them on there with some masking tape. So I'm just going to use a piece of masking tape. And so take a little ball like that of them, fold them up. And you can do this anywhere on your paper mache project. You can see that started to level that up already a little bit there. Okay, so I just took this out of the oven. You'll see it's a little baked on there. You'll see my head is much better. It's much more even now. The nose is much more even. I'm gonna put a little bit more paper mache on there. But before I do that, I have to put my ears on. Now sheep have weird ears, all right? These are a little bit big. I cut these out before I held them on here, but yeah, those are a little, well, they're way too big, who am I kidding? So the great thing about sculpture is you can adjust stuff. It's not to go on. There, that's much better. So what I would do is I would just take the one, hold it on the other one, do the trim. All right, that one's gonna go on there. That one's gonna go on there. Much better. Okay, so I'm gonna glue those on. Okay, so I decided at the end here, I have everything pretty much really covered, but I'm just going to put on a little piece of tissue. So this is just a piece of Kleenex that I've cut. And I'm just going to push that on like that. And it'll give it a nice smooth finish. Okay, so I'm just wetting it with my finger. Just pushing it in like that. Get all the air bubbles out of it. Okay, and then I'm going to take just a couple of more pieces of this. All right, so this is all hardened up pretty good. So I'm going to cover this entire thing with black paint. All right, so I painted them all with the black paint, and then I just took the hairdryer to it and I put the legs, I just found the holes that we had made before and stuck the legs on. I'll shoot it from the side here so you can see what it looks like. Yeah, so that's what it looks like on my table there. Put a shot down over here. Okay, here's the final step for our sheep. We're going to glue on here some cotton balls. These are just regular cotton balls. But one of the things about cotton balls is that you can actually unroll them. All right, so you can actually find the end of a cotton ball and then just unroll it like that. All right, and keep going, going and going and going and going. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of glue on here, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on my paper here, just like that. All right, I'm going to start at the head. The sheep that I'm doing has its black face to its neck, and then it starts to be white. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of glue under its neck here like this. That's actually quite a bit of glue, but then I'm going to put this on and push that into the glue, and then I'm just going to wind this around like that. All right, and then I'm just going to glue it back on where it ends. So it All right, so there he is on my workbench. Eyes painted on, fur all glued on, little red spindly legs, head cocked slightly to the side with a look of he just doesn't care. If you learned anything from this video, please click like. If you're currently a subscriber, I thank you very much. And if you're not currently a subscriber, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.